Magandang araw. Ako si Kuya Code. Today we will be talking about two Python string problems in Hackerrank. We'll talk about first TextWrap, and then as well as extra some more string formatting. So for TextWrap, the premise is that we have a long string, and then we're going to change it. So each we're going to split it into a number of lines, and each line is only going to be the width based off of the number that we were given. So as you see, you have A to Z here. We're given the number 4, and then it's changed so it's only 4 characters on each line, and then just whatever's remaining here. So that's pretty simple. And then as well as the string formatting. For this one, it's going to introduce. Everybody uses decimal numbers in general communication, but there's also octagonal numbers, hexadecimal numbers, and binary numbers, which are definitely useful for computer science. So, for example, we're given number 17, and then we print this is 1 to 17 in base 10, 1 to 17 in base 8, 1 to 17 in base 16, and then 1 to 17 in binary. So, we'll have to format a string that way it prints out all of those. So, of course, we're going to go with our IDE here first. So first I'm going to just import TextWrap. I think we also need import math. And something else I'll do at the very bottom, if name equals main. I'm going to make a string here. So just with some sample text that we will format. So let's see here, input, actually we'll call it paragraph. And we'll just have a bunch of text here. So let's see here. Numbers are fantastic. In decimal, which is called base 10, we count from 1 to 10. In octagonal, which is base 8, the number 10 becomes 12. Hexadecimal is called base 16. The number 10 is represented by A. And finally, in binary, which is also base 2, number 10 is written as like this, binary. Numbers between bases is a fundamental concept for computer science. So there's our paragraph. Max width for the formatting, we'll just do 20 for now. And then we will make a method. So I don't know, wrap and format text. So we'll pass in the paragraph, and then the max width. So there's that. And now we need to create the method. So we'll define a method called this. We will get the text and the max width. Just for the demo here, we'll just print text, and we'll just print max width. So let's go ahead and run that and see what we get. Invalid syntax. What is wrong with the syntax? Let me see. I forgot the equals here. I believe that was it. All right, so now we have the 20 width, and we have our text. So what the first thing that we're going to do is there's a built-in method for this, which is why we imported TextWrap. That makes it very easy. So wrapped lines equals TextWrap dot wrap text max width, not ditch width. And then we'll see here, we'll just print out wrapped lines. So that just basically takes it, looks like it's taking it and it splits it up into, it makes a list and it splits it up into parts where each one is no more than 20 characters. Okay, so now total lines equals just the length. That's actually len of max lines. So now we have how many lines we have. And then spacing. This is for the string format, which is related to different ways we represent the numbers. So if we take a number, let's say total lines, and convert it to binary, because the binary is the longest section. So if I go back to here, notice that the binary is the longest section. So we need to format each column so that way it fits based off of the binary. So we'll take the total lines, convert it to binary, and the way that it prints it out, it looks like this. So we need to skip these first two and only grab the binary section. So this just gives us a list, and then we can just start at 2 and do the rest. So what is the length of that, which is basically the spacing for each column in our print statement. So now for our loop, for line number, line in enumerate, we'll go over all of our lines. And now this is the section where we need to format. Like if, for example, if we have 20 lines, what we're also going to have to include in each one of those lines is each number converted into, base 10, base 8, base 16, and the binary. So we have to do that. So Python has a lot of stuff that's already that helps with that. So for example, for regular decimal, string line number, we can use justify spacing, which, like I said, it's the width of each column. That's the decimal. So well, actually, let's just print that out. So print string format like that. It'll just do decimal, and we'll just see what happens when we print that. So now we have all the numbers in decimal going from 1 to 19. Looks like this should have been a +1, but we can worry about that afterwards. So let me see here. So that was decimal, and then for the next one is octagonal. So octal, we'll just have a method called oct line number, which converts it to that automatically. Remember, we need to cut off the first 2 characters. We'll do the same thing with the spacing. And this is octagonal, and then hexa. And now we got this hex built-in function that automatically converts it to hexadecimal. Line number 2. For hexadecimal, since it includes characters, we can actually just do convert it to upper. We'll justify it to the right as well. Spacing. And then lastly, binary. Bin line number 2, right justify, spacing, and that's a binary. So this is the decimal, octagonal, hexagonal, or hexadecimal, and then we'll get the binary as well. And let's see what that gives us. So that gives us exactly what we would want. We have an extra comma here for some reason. We can just go ahead and get rid of that probably. Where's that comma? Oh. And now, of course, we can just include the line as well. Also, let me check something. Because this is 20 lines, it would be, this is, where would that be? I think it would be, this is 20. I think that's +1. We need to have a +1 somewhere because sometimes with Python, if you're doing a for loop, it'll stop right before whatever the end number is for the loop. Which is this screaming about? We're screaming about this. Oh wait, that's I think it should be here. Oh, looks like this is only 17. I was confused in what the 20 meant. So the 20 is not 20 lines, or sorry, 20 rows. The 20 is the width of this, which is what I said at the beginning, but when I was initially thinking that it was only 19, I didn't mean that it was necessarily had to be 20 lines. But each line here is only 20 width. So once it hits that 20 width limit for the line, it starts a new line. And then because the length of our original text, it just so happens to get to the end of the main text paragraph when we get to line 17. So of course we have 17 for the base 10, we have base 8, we have base 16, and then we have base 1. So basically sometimes a lot of people probably think that these are kind of confusing, but base 10, we simply have 10 numbers. Let's just pretend that there's a 0 before the 1 here. So including the 0, we have 0 and 1 to 9. So that's 10 numbers. So once you get to the last number, which is in this case is 9, this what's the word? Column changes from 9 and it resets back down to 0, and then you start a new row, or you start a new column, and then this is 1, and then you do 1 to 9 or 0 to 9 again, and you keep on doing that, because like you have like the if you have like 123, there's 100 of the ones column, 2 of the tens column, and 3 of the ones column. So this is the same thing, except instead of stopping at 9 and going to 0 and then adding a new column, you stop at 7, which including 0 would be the 8th one when you go to 0. So this is technically 8. We've got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And then with hexadecimal, it's the same thing, except after 9, this is the 10th number, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So this is the 16th before it goes. And if we actually make it longer, let me see if we can make this longer instead of 20. Well, if we put like 10, if each width or each line has half the width, then you're going to need twice as many rows in order to do your entire thing. So we'll go ahead and run that again. See, now we have each row is a lot shorter, which means we need a lot more rows. And as you can see here, it's a bit confusing because if this is 19, after 9, it goes to A, which means you have 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, and then it's a mixture of numbers and letters, 1F, before we get to 20. And then as for binary, an easy way to explain this is using powers. So this first row, or sorry, this first column is basically 0. I think it's 0 to the power of 1, I believe. This is power of 2. This is power of 3. This is power of 4. So for example, 2 to the power of 1 is just 1. Or sorry, 2 to the power of 0 is 1. 2 to the power of 2 is 4. 2 to the power of 3 is 8. 2 to the power of 4 is 16. So for example, All right, so this is 16, which means this is the 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. So when you add it all up, all you have is 16. There's a 1 in the 16th column, and there's 0 in these. So when you add up, it ends up being 16. And then in this case, you have 1 in the 16th column, which is 16, and then you add the 1 in the ones column, which is 17. And this, of course, is a 16 and a 2 for 18. This is a 16 and a 2 and a 1 for 19, and of course a 16 and a 4 for 20, and it kind of keeps going all the way down. So this one, for example, is 16 plus an 8, which is 24, plus a 4, which is 28, plus a 2, which is 30, plus a 1, which is 31. So that's kind of how binary works. So let's just go over to these problems here. So for the first one, which is just TextWrap, like I said, we could just do the same way that we did in the previous one. There is a new method that's included of the inside of the TextWrap class here. So I'll show you that, and then we can also show you kind of a more manual way as well. So let's see here. This is, we're given our string and our input for our width. You pass those in, and then for the wrap function, turn the string into a list. Well, actually, I'll show you the other way first. We can just return text wrap dot fill. We pass in the string, which could be this, for example, and then we just simply pass in the max width. So max width, and that should automatically do what we need to, which returns this. Looks like my cookies have gotten all weird. Let me refresh and try it again. All right, so look, that worked, and we can go ahead and submit that. And I could also quickly show you a more manual way. So we take our string, list string, so we convert our string to a list for I, and range, start at 0 and go to the length of the string, which of course could be this entire thing. And then the third parameter is skipping the string by a certain number. So we could put max width plus 1. So that means if max width is 4, then every 5 characters, it'll just skip over it. So for example, if you are going through range 1 to 10, and you put this number to 2, it'll go 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, where it'll skip every other one. So there's our loop. And then inside of here, we're going to just simply insert I plus max width. And then we'll just insert the new line character. And then after that, we can return, convert it back to a string. We could .join s, which is the string. That should work unless I made a typo somewhere. So that works. So basically, we kind of imagine we're iterating through this entire string, and then after 4 characters, we insert a new line, and then another 4 characters, insert a new line. Another 4 characters, insert a new line. So then when we rejoin it, you just basically have the new line character after every 4 characters, which gives us the same result. But this is kind of a more manual way to do the same thing as a text wrap fill function we did. So of course that should still work with all of these. So that one is done, and now we will just go over, I'll just close this and go over to the string format one, which is right here. Looks like I have my answer from before. Um, so this is going to be the same as what we had in our other example. So we need spacing, the length of the bin, which is the binary number. There's the number. We got to chop off those first two. I could also just actually show you um, if we print out the binary number, what does this give us? Oops, in is not a valid thing. Should be bin. So it gives us these two characters that we don't want. This is 2 in binary because this is the ones column and this is the twos column. So if we just do this, start at the second one and go to the end, that'll just give us just the part we need, which is just that. So that's what we're doing here. That's a spacing because again, the fourth column here needs to be formatted to have enough space for the binary, and then all of these columns will match with the same width. So there's that. And then for I in range, start at 1, go to number plus 1. For the normal number, actually, we could probably just copy it from, where is that? Just to make it easier. I believe that should work. Although I got to get my spacing in. So there's the, except this will just be I instead of that. So I, and I. And then we could just print there's our decimal, octal, hexa, binary, and then we could need to, I don't think we actually need to have a separator because I think that is the default, but we will do that anyways. So of course these are all our numbers converted. We have the spacing that we need based off of the length of the binary number. Let's go ahead and run that. Spacing is not defined. I called it spacing. All right, and that actually ended up working. Let's go ahead and submit, and we are done with the test problem. So that is good. So which ones do we have left? Let's go to unsolved. Switch it to easy. So we just have two more: the doormat design and the alphabet one. So these ones are a bit more complicated. It's more string formatting. And it's just printing out these cool patterns based off of your input size. So, and the doormat formatting is kind of similar. So that's it for this video. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe for more coding challenges. Let me know in the comments if you have any other questions or suggestions for future videos. See you next time on Code. Paalam.